Now talking about the chapter trading income. Now trading income chapter. Now remember something, trading income, it's also known as TATP. Question. The net profit we get inside the SOPL is the same thing as the TATP show in the tax returns. True or false? It is false. Okay. So TATP and accounting profit are different from each other. Okay. There are main four differences between accounting profit and TATP. There are certain expenses. Okay. I'll show you what those four differences are. Okay. I'll show you what those differences are. One is there are certain expenses which in the SOPL they have reduced, but the taxman says you cannot reduce. First difference. Second difference, there are certain income which we show in the SOPL. The taxman says you don't have to show. Then, third difference, there are certain income which we are supposed to show in the SOPL, but which we did not show. The taxman says we have to show. Then, there is some expenditure which we don't have to reduce, but in the SOPL we have reduced it. And the taxman says you don't have to reduce, you can add it back. These are the main four differences. So mainly in this chapter, what you're dealing with is, what to do when it comes to TATP, each adjustment. So if any exam question comes from this area, if your 15 marks CR question comes from trading income, you should be happy because it is very easy to deal with these questions. Okay, because it's all about adding back and all that. So when a TATP question comes, carefully read the requirement, which amount are they asking us to start with, then deal with all the requirements. First, let's familiarize ourselves with some terms. Okay. Now, what is disallowable? What is allowable? What is deductible? What is non-deductible? Is what we're going to discuss. Now, disallowable actually means disallowable by who? By the taxman. Disallowable means we need to add back. Correct? We need to add back. Yes. Allowable means it is allowed. Yes. So be careful here. Allowable means what? Allowable means the taxman allows us to reduce. So if you have already reduced it, should we again reduce it to come from the accounting profit to the TATP? No. What is deductible? The same thing as disallowable. It's the same thing. Then not deductible. What is the meaning of not deductible? Not deductible means the same thing, disallowable. Okay. I mean, deductible is the same as allowable, non-deductible is the same as disallowable. That's a very clear point. Yes. Now, for calculating TATP from accounting profit, what should be done if the following is included in the accounting profit to arrive at TATP? Let's take a look. If fines and penalties are there, what should we do? We should add back. Yes. Add back fines and penalties. Depreciation we have to add back. Then cost of registering trademark and patents. What about cost of registering trademark and patents? What I wanted to do is pause the video, fill in the two blanks you see there. Okay. And then you can play the video to see the answer. Did you get the correct answer for both of these? Cost of registering trademarks and patents is allowable. Loans to employees written off is disallowable. So in case in the SOPL, they have already shown cost of registering trademarks and patents as an expense. Do you have to again minus it when you calculate TATP? No, you can just show it as 0. Here also there are 3 of them. You can pause the video, find out what's the answer, play the video again to see what's the answer. Here is the answer. Did you get it right? Now, here are some of them. Pause the video. You can write down what the answer is. Then resume the video again to see what the answer is. So this is how you can see the answers here. So I hope you got it right. So I just discuss a few adjustments which are important. Now, gift, when it comes to gift to customers, 3 conditions needs to be satisfied if gift to customers need to be allowable. All 3 of them needs to be satisfied, not just any one of them. What are the 3 conditions? It must not be food, drink, or tobacco, and it must have an advertisement of the company, and per gift must be less than or equal to 50 pounds. That is a condition for it to be allowable. If all 3 are satisfying, then only we can actually, claim it as allowable. It is allowable, otherwise it is not allowable. Now, what you should do is, what I suggest is you just go through your textbook, your workbook, BPP workbook. You can see all the different adjustments, and then you'll see which all you know, which all you don't know. Another adjustment which I did not mention before is unpaid remuneration. When it comes to you're actually salary to employees, you show it in your SOPL, but sometimes it is unpaid. Yeah. So the rule is if earnings for employees are charged in the accounts but are not paid within 9 months of the end of the period of account, cost is only deductible for the period of account in which the earnings are paid. So within 9 months, if it is not paid, you cannot show it as an allowable expense. So remaining everything are the usual ones. You can just go through. I did not discuss all the adjustments, but I hope you will go through all of them in your go to your handouts and you can see all the adjustments. And when it comes to cash basis, before I go to cash basis, I hope you know what is pre-trading expenditure. Yes, pre-trading expenditure. Pre-trading expenditure means any trading related expenditure which we had incurred 7 years before we start to trade is actually allowable from the time we start to trade. That is, in normal situations, there are some expenses which are allowable and disallowable for us. If this happened about 7 years before, in the 7 years period before the trade started, then we can treat it as an allowable or disallowable. Allowable. If it is an allowable item, we can treat it as an allowable item. Now, coming to cash basis, a few things to keep in mind. What is cash basis? Cash basis is whereby the TATP is prepared as per the cash basis. Now, are the following deductible as per cash basis? There are 4 questions here. You can write the answer to your question and then we'll discuss. You can see the answer. I hope the answer to your questions was you got it. The capital expenditure, plant machinery, yes. On cars, no. On land and building, no. On motor cars, no. Now there is one more thing called fixed rate mileage. Okay, fixed rate mileage means when it comes to car expense, motor car expense, we actually do something which is we don't actually reduce the business proportion as it is, but we do a calculation. Business mileage into AMAP rates. Business mileage into AMAP rates. Yeah, business mileage into AMAP rates. That is what we do. Okay, FRM. That is what we do. There's one more point with regards to FRM. Okay, there's one more point with regards to fixed rate expenses. Now, these fixed rate expenses are of 2 types. One is fixed rate mileage. Okay, one is with respect to your accommodation. Okay, one is with respect to your accommodation, or you call it the a fixed rate with respect to accommodation. So fixed rate expense with regard relating to accommodation. That is, if you're using cash basis and your house is also used for private purpose, then let's say the cost was this much. Let's say the cost is £1,000 and private use adjustment, they'll given the question. They'll say the fixed rate private use adjustment is 700. That means this is the private use amount. So in the cash base, when you're preparing the TATP, will you reduce 1,000 or will you reduce 700 or will you reduce 1,000 minus 700? It will be 1,000 minus 700. So you will do 1,000 minus 700. So 700. So the amount you'll reduce is 300. 300 is the expense you'll reduce from your as cost as that is the private use we are removing from that. Okay. Right. And one more point with regards to cash base, which is if a loss comes under cash base, if loss comes, the only option available is carry forward. The only option available is carry the loss forward against future trading profits. Okay, so that's it about this chapter. This chapter is extremely important, but it's easy to crack. And yes, so go through all the adjustments in this chapter, which is already provided to you in the handouts.